Hi, Dale. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today, Nicole.
Oh, this is awesome. So, you know what? I want to get right into this. There are so many coaches out there. There are so many coaches. You meet a personal development coach, a professional business coach, there's coaches for everything, a meditation coach. Tell me about Action Coach. Tell me how you guys are different. I know it's a franchise. I know you're based out of Calgary, and I know that there's a whole team of you. So right there, that's the difference. But please tell me a little bit more.
Of course, of course. So Action Coach is the world's largest business coaching organization. It's been around for more than 30 years now and is in over 80 countries around the world. And so in 2018, I had the opportunity to purchase the master franchise rights for the brand across Canada. And what makes Action Coach different in the business coaching space is that traditionally professional services haven't had, you know, uh, a structure in business coaching that has allowed individuals to grow their own business coaching firm. We typically are looking at what we call coffee shop coaches, or anyone can call themselves a coach, just like you said.
Exactly.
And so one of the challenges that we found in the general coaching marketplace is because individuals aren't certified or don't have developed intellectual property or really have the power that they need to be successful as a coach. They might have been successful as, let's say, a practitioner or someone who has practiced a particular craft, but to be able to coach that craft is a whole nother story, right?
I had a quick question. I'm just really curious this, because there are different segments that make a business successful. So you have, for creating a proper business plan, somebody who may need help in sales or business development or finance. So does Action Coach have specific coaches in those areas, or is it just like, how does that work?
Yeah, so what Action Coach focuses on is our proprietary product, which we call the Six Steps. And I'll provide maybe some information on what that looks like. But what it does is it takes any entrepreneur, any business, any country, like we're talking millions of clients served to date. And so it's industry agnostic. And what it does is it takes the owners of this business through six core steps to be able to be positioned to sell their company. Now, people want to sell their company about 80% of the time. Often you have either family-owned businesses, or maybe it's publicly owned, or it's not going to be positioned for sale. But the owners at some point have to leave, right? Either through death or through their choice of actually wanting to leave an organization. At some point, they're not going to work there anymore. And so what Action Coach does is positions over these six steps individuals to get to a spot where they can leave the organization or not work if they don't want to, or scale, right? Or franchise their idea or do something else that allows them to, really achieve the entrepreneurial goals and dreams that they set when they first started their business.
Beautiful. So it sounds like you work with corporations, or do you work more with individuals? Like what's the difference there?
Yeah,
Because it
so I
sounds like
mean,
you go after department heads and leaders within an organization. Is that correct?
yeah, so we essentially have two different cohorts that we do our coaching with. One would be the small medium enterprise market, which is about 98% of all businesses in Canada. And so this would typically be people like you and me, individuals that do require, coaching on how to structure their business for sale.
Hmm.
But often there's also things like maybe sales training, for maybe they have 50 sales managers on their team, and they're not giving particular sales training, or they need ongoing sales training. Could be marketing support. It could be, but the most powerful program that Action Coach has, in my opinion, for the SME marketplace, is running our clients through a 13-week coaching cycle. And this is really the power of what allows us to retain our clients 41 months on average in a row. Is we run in these every quarter, every 90 days, we get our clients to do a 90-day business plan. Most business owners, especially in the SME marketplace, may have never created a business plan, or there's one in their head, or like it's very
Right.
rare to have a targeted plan for the entire organization or the owner. And by doing these business plans every 90 days, it keeps the owner on track and gets, shiny object syndrome gets removed to a significant degree, but also allows them to keep their team on track. And that's the only way they'll be able to leave their organization is if they can hire the right people, have the right systems in place that they can follow, and allow them to essentially replace themselves as time goes on.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm just wondering, so are you coaching individuals or are you coaching in groups as well?
Yeah, we do. We do one-on-one coaching, like intimate, personalized business coaching programs. But we also do have our SME individuals in group coaching programs as well. We also actually do have an executive coaching function. So, for example, companies like Canadian Tire, Red Bull, Disney, the government, these are our common executive coaching clients that we work with. And in there, we're usually working with either a group of executives or extremely large teams. Sometimes these organizations, the VPs might have, thousands of employees that are reporting to them. And so how can they have forms of training to 5,000 individuals, which might be, again, management training, sales training, a variety of training functions. But how can they have maximum influence to be able to, help grow the organization? Because one person doesn't have the power of 5,000, but they
Right.
certainly have the influence to be able to encourage 5,000 people to operate in a certain manner. And so those are kind of our two cohorts, the SME marketplace and the executive coaching side.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I think you wanted to demonstrate something with the audience. Did you want to show me like the process? Did you want to share that with me?
Sure. I mean, I'll share my screen here really quick. Just really what it just is doing is summarizing a little bit of what we said. There's lots of notes here on the page, but like I said, there's that small medium enterprise coaching that we do, our executive coaching wing, but also more in the micro business space, which is about actually 60% of all businesses have less than 4 employees in Canada. And, oftentimes they're not looking for intimate one-on-one coaching, either for affordability reasons or just where they're at in their business in terms of scale. And when that's the case, we have a variety of workshops or seminars or training programs that might go over these 13 weeks at a time that allow micro businesses to get access to our training programs as well. Because to be honest, they contribute such a large portion to the Canadian economy, right? We're talking 60% of all business in Canada is that micro business space. And so we really do have a program that fits every business's needs. But to be able to service these companies, our primary role here at the Action Coach Canada head office is to recruit high performers and leaders that want to help other entrepreneurs be successful. And I think that's really been our key to success is being able to work with, number ones. Action Coach is number one in the world for a reason, and it's because, the top performers want to utilize the intellectual property that we have to help other entrepreneurs be successful so they can avoid the pitfalls that all of us entrepreneurs, have encountered. And it's a very valuable, tool for business owners to be able to have access to.
This is amazing because it's so specific. It's so, so specific. And that's what I really like about it. So, Dale, if you wouldn't mind, what is the best place for individuals to reach you?
So our website, I think, is a great place to be able to reach, anyone here at the Action Coach Canada head office, and we'll include that link below in this YouTube video. But another great place I find for learning about Action Coach is our YouTube channel. And maybe I'll bring it up shortly here just to kind of show what that looks like for the audience. But our YouTube, the world today is all about, video and media, access for learning. And Action Coach's YouTube page, in my opinion, is just very powerful because it's giving every day. We have business growth tips. We have information on what's going on in the marketplace, whether it's Canada or abroad. Different functions of either grant funding, access to capital, other resources, just so many tools that will either help a business owner success or help others, if they're looking to become a business coach, to learn more about what that would mean for them and their legacy in their entrepreneurial career as well.
Beautiful. Anything you wanted to show up on the screen there?
Yeah, here I'll bring it up here. Action Coach TV, I believe here we go, is the YouTube channel. So I'll just do a quick little sneak peek here on the screen. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yep. So just, yeah, the Action Coach TV. And you'll see here just some of the more recent ones, 28 marketing mistakes that people might make, 20 mistakes of business owners, how to get clients through lead generation strategies, lots of podcasts, just like what you're obviously doing here right now too. All sorts of really great things. As you'll see, actually, a lot of it is performed by our founder and chairman. His name is Brad Sugars. Anyone who does some research on Brad Sugars can see some of the really powerful things that he's done. He actually started his business career by, creating really the business coaching industry back in 1993 through Action Coach. But he ended up selling, it was the largest sale at the time to McGraw-Hill publishers for a set of 11 business learning book series. And that by being able to sell that book series to McGraw-Hill really just launched not just what Brad Sugars was doing with Action Coach, but it was able to get these fundamental principles of business ownership worldwide. And what we found, that's the challenge. You know, carpenters who are a great carpenter eventually start their own carpentry business, but they get stuck being a carpenter in their business, and they end up working in the business and replace carpentry with literally any craft. And so often, you know, the owners are stuck working in the business that they don't have the success working on the business that they need. And that's why 90% of businesses die, right? They go bankrupt, they fail, they get wound up. And so although a lot of people have the dream of becoming an entrepreneur or owning their own business and having that freedom, you know, most of them just don't have access to the right resources, or, you know, no one's really teaching these things, you know, outside of Action Coach. And so that's why this, and I mean, obviously I'm biased to say this, but it's just so valuable, I think, for any entrepreneur. There's so much at stake. You know, I got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old at home, and a lot of entrepreneurs have families, right? We're talking, you know, our children's livelihoods are on the line. You know, our family dinners on the line, right? There's so many things are at stake when you're going into entrepreneurship, that to not have access to any learning, any resources to help you be successful is just completely irresponsible in our opinion. And so we are taking that responsibility on our own shoulders to be able to help encourage entrepreneurs to understand the value that coaching has, right? Without it, you have a 90% likelihood of failing, of having a failed business. And that's one thing, having a fail. I've had actually many failed businesses in my entrepreneurial career to this point, which has helped me with my successes. But, you know, a lot of people can't afford to have these failures. And when the failures lead into other nasty things, you know, from divorce to bankruptcy to things that can be a lot more challenging and terrible than that even, you know, not pursuing learning and education like what Action Coach has, is when it's available to everyone, is a complete shame. And so that's why, yeah, we've just taken that responsibility to help others get access to it so that they don't have to face those challenges that 90% of businesses do.
I love the passion that you have for this.
Well, thank
And
you.
I also really like what you said, which is being focused on, instead of being focused on the business, entrepreneurs tend to focus on the day-to-day in the business, when they should be focusing on it and putting energy there too. So that's a big problem. So that's well said. Thank you so much.